I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels, and you're watching Weather Homeschool. During today's episode, we talk about why we haven't seen much, if any, snow over the course of this winter. Of course, now we're in spring, so those chances going down for us. But before we get to that, I do have one homework assignment for you guys. You see this snowman right here? I want you guys to draw your best snowman, and then the best one will get picked to be on air either Thursday or Friday of this week. In the meantime, I may show some of them as well on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. So get to it, get those creative juices flowing, and see what you can come up with. Meanwhile, let's talk about why we haven't seen a whole lot of snow this winter. And in order to get snow, you really just need two things to line up. Number one, you need the cold air to come in from the north. Number two, you need the moisture to come in from the south. And really, you just need the two to meet up together and get that snow going. Well, we didn't have that happen a lot, and one of the reasons why is something called the polar vortex, and you may have heard of this a few times on the news, and it's something that's come up a lot in the past few years, and some people make it out to be a bigger thing than what it really is. It's really nothing new. It's not something that hits you either. But pieces of it can break off, and when that happens, you get really cold air to come into our part of the United States. So there's the polar vortex. You see it toward the North Pole, and that's where it just kind of lives. But again, pieces of it can break off and make us very cold. But when the wind around it is very strong, picture it like this. Picture like you've got a teddy bear and you hold it really tight, or if you've got a dog or a cat, you hold them really tight. Well, then they can't escape, right? I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you just kind of hold on to a cat loosely, well, they can jump out of your arms, right? This polar vortex has been very strong, wound tight, so the colder air really just kind of has stayed to the north for a lot of the year so far, meaning that we've had limited shots of colder air. So we've had the moisture, we've had plenty of rain over the course of 2020, but we've had limited shots of colder air to meet up with that moisture. In fact, we just did a little bit of research, and 2020, this year so far, has been the third warmest on record. We'll see if we keep that up as we head into the summer. But today, of course, is April Fool's Day, and April snows can happen, but they don't happen very, very often. This is some other research that we've done that we want to share along with you guys. In places like Blacksburg, on average, you see snow once every 3 years in the month of April. For Lynchburg and Roanoke, you see snow once every 8 years in the month of April. And for places like Danville and Martinsville, it's much more rare. But I want you guys to put your thinking caps on really quick and try and think of what the biggest snow has been in the month of April for where you live. Pause the video, and when you think you have a good answer, unpause it. We'll show you the correct answer when you unpause the video. So I know this is a tricky question and kind of leaves us up to a lot of guesswork, but here's some of the biggest snows that we've had in the month of April when you look back at history. For Blacksburg, the biggest snow in the month of April came in 1971, and that was 10 inches of snow. In Roanoke, it was the same storm that dropped 7.5 inches. In Lynchburg, the same storm dropped nearly 5 inches. But the biggest snow to happen in Danville wasn't really all that much. It was 2 inches of snow way back in 1918. I highly doubt that we're going to see much, if any, snow throughout the month of April. But that leaves me to our trivia question for today's Weather Homeschool episode. How much snow did we see during our snowiest winter? You've got three possible answers. Answer number one, or A, is 3 to 4 feet, B is 10 feet, and C is about 5 feet. Put your thinking caps on again, pause the video, and when you think you have the answer, unpause, and we'll show you the correct answer to today's weather trivia. So how much snow did we see during our snowiest winter on record? About 5 feet. That's pretty impressive. If you were to total out all the snow we saw during that winter, let's see, I'm about 5'9", so the snow would come up to about here on me, and for some of you, it would be over your heads. Think about it that way. So yeah, that was the snowiest winter on record. This was one of the least snowy winters on record. But again, in case you've forgotten about our homework assignment this time around, I just want you to either draw or out of construction paper, make your own snowman. Get creative with it and send me a picture on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or to my email, which is cmichaels@WSLS.com. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels for Weather Homeschool. We'll see you next week.